WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. An armed robbery in Starkville is caught on video, and Starkville police are asking for the public's help to find the robbers.
Just after 8 o'clock last night, two men wearing masks entered the Be Quick at 1111 North Montgomery Street. They forced the clerk to the floor, then took money and merchandise. Anyone with any information on these two suspects should call the Starkville Police Department or Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers. No one was injured during the crime.
A Clay County burglary investigation leads to the arrest of a Lowndes County man. Deputies arrested 38-year-old Shane Bazell of Columbus. He's charged with burglary of a shed along with 2 counts of grand larceny. Bazell is accused of stealing 2 vehicles. One was recovered. The other was found at a Lowndes County scrap metal yard. His bond has not been set. Sheriff Eddie Scott says the investigation is ongoing.
A routine traffic stop turned into a chase when an Itawamba County couple tried to evade arrest. James Brown of Dorsey and Kayla Wright of Tremont refused to pull over for an Itawamba County deputy during a traffic stop earlier today. They did not get far, though, and a search of the vehicle turned up multiple stolen items. That couple charged with burglary of a commercial building, possession of burglary tools and a controlled substance, and felony eluding. Bond has been set at $140,000 for Brown, $30,000 for Wright. The two suspects in at least 7 church burglaries, 3 home burglaries, and the theft of batteries from commercial equipment.
A man involved in a Friday night car crash in Lowndes County has died. Tajay Thomas was the driver of a Chevy Impala that collided head-on with a Nissan on Highway 12 near Vale Road. 6 people, including Thomas, were airlifted to area hospitals. Thomas was taken to North Mississippi Medical Center in Tupelo, where Lowndes County Coroner Greg Merchant says he died this morning. A woman and child in the Nissan were flown to UAB with severe injuries. A man and 2 other children in that car were taken to North Mississippi Medical Center with serious injuries. MHP continues to investigate the crash.
Meanwhile, the names of people involved in Saturday's deadly crash in Macon have been released. Marvin Jackson, Tyrone McMullen, and Derek Ball died at the scene. Noxubee County Coroner Ariel Calhoun says no one in the vehicle was wearing a seatbelt. The driver of that car, Darren Dwayne Howard, has been released from the hospital. The 2-car accident happened early Saturday morning on Highway 45 and City Creek Road in Macon. Maddie Brown, the driver of the other car, has been treated and released from the hospital.
Intersections can be deadly and dangerous. Law enforcement say people not paying attention or stopping at stop signs cause many of those crashes.
Our Jory Talley joins us live with more on how intersections are declared dangerous and what can be done about them.
The responsibility about doing something about these dangerous intersections falls into the hands of the Mississippi Department of Transportation. The department is over safety and maintenance projects throughout the state and know just how many deadly accidents happen at intersections. The Mississippi Department of Transportation studies the crash history of intersections throughout the state on a periodic basis. They also look at intersections from a traffic standpoint.
Take volume counts, take turning movement counts, and try to evaluate what might be contributing to the accident, and then try to put a countermeasure in place to address that when possible.
Some of those safety countermeasures include a range of things.
Could be warning devices, could be signalization, could be a directional median that on 4 lanes that even would prevent a left turn out of an intersection from time to time.
A warning device was placed in Macon after a deadly crash several years ago. That's when a group of people got together calling for action to be taken.
Intersection down by the new high school on the highway. I understand that there were flashing lights put up, and I would think that, that would be there anyway, being in a school zone. That's about the only one.
Macon Police Chief Lucius Mason says there have been a number of deadly accidents from people not stopping at the 4-way stop intersection of Highways 45 and 14. He says the key is for people to pay attention to the signs that are there to alert drivers.
There are road signs up that tell you all about a highway, if it's a curve or intersection coming up. And I think that's a lot of times that's what people forget to look at, because they could be distracted by looking at the phone, and not paying attention to the highway.
MDOT District 1 engineer Mark Hawley says the department is constantly looking at dangerous intersections for improvements that can be made when funding is available.
It's not really limited to a length of time. It can depend on the intersection and how complicated the intersection is and the amount of traffic that's involved. Certainly, higher volume traffics require a little more in-depth reviews.
Hawley says the department is in some finishing stages of a project that addresses some issues at 100 different intersections in the Tupelo area, which is in District 1. Reporting live in Columbus, Jory Talley, WCBI News.
All right, thanks, Jory, for that live report tonight. In other news, the Pontotoc County School District says it continues to investigate a crash that left several students injured. Superintendent Brock Puckett released a statement on social media today. He says the district cannot comment on the bus driver's status, citing personnel matters and an ongoing investigation. The school system will reevaluate how it trains its drivers. Sheriff Leo Mask says the bus driver, 46-year-old Jason Warren, is out on bond after being charged with leaving the scene of an accident. Warren is a coach at North Pontotoc. Time now to turn our attention to weather. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson has a first look at your forecast. Keith?
Hey, Joey, more cloud cover out there today. A live look at the scene in Vernon, Alabama, at Durham's Pharmacy. A little bit of sunshine, but a lot of cloud cover, not a lot of rain. If you're heading out this evening, don't really be scared about the clouds because we don't really have any shower activity out there in our area. The greater batch of showers over near Greenville right now. We are currently in the mid-70s. We are hanging out there, slowly falling into the low 70s by 11 o'clock. The full forecast in just a few minutes.
OCH Regional Medical Center was at the top of the Oktibbeha County Board of Supervisors' agenda today. Up for discussion was what to do with the money should the hospital be sold. A unanimous decision was made to put the proceeds into a trust fund. In the future, the interest would be used for needs throughout the county. Supervisors used previous county hospital sales as a model for the plan.
Surrounding counties have used that same approach, and it worked really well for them to use the interest to work on various infrastructure needs in Oktibbeha County.
Now, there will be a town hall meeting Thursday at 6 o'clock to address citizens' concerns and questions surrounding the possible sale.
The Noxubee County Board of Supervisors vote not to change the Sheriff's Department's budget. Sheriff Terry Grassery says the board had considered cutting 2 deputy positions. Talk of possible cuts came after the department went over budget. Grassery says the overages are because the county inherits many bills and responsibilities from the 3 towns in the county. Supervisors said they'll work with the department to maintain the positions.
We went through there and cleaned all that up. Then we found out that I did have to still do a little finagling on how I was going to do my time and my deputies, but it came out to their satisfaction, and it was something that I could deal with and live with also.
The department has 5 full-time deputies and 1 part-time deputy. The proposed cuts would have left the department with 3 deputies to patrol the entire county.
And in Lowndes County, a veteran detective takes over the Lowndes County Adult Detention Center. Sheriff Mike Ardledge says Captain Ryan Rickert will be the new jail administrator. Rickert most recently headed the Criminal Investigations Division at the Sheriff's Department. Former Chief Deputy and longtime lawman Greg Wright will lead CID at the department. Jail Administrator Rick Jones retired last week. Several jailers were punished after the escape of Delvin Moore back on September 3rd from the Lowndes County Jail, where Moore remains on the run.
The Tupelo couple finds themselves in the line of fire in Las Vegas.
We have their story when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. The nation is in shock today over the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. A gunman opened fire Sunday evening targeting concert goers at a country music festival in Las Vegas.
At least 59 are dead, more than 500 injured. And as WCBI's Allie Martin reports, a couple from Tupelo caught in the crossfire are just thankful to be alive tonight.
For David and Sydney Shook, the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival was a chance for the country music fans to see many of their favorite artists and enjoy a vacation.
So we got here Friday afternoon, and it was an awesome event until last night.
This video, live streamed by a concert goer, captures the moment shots rang out during a set by headliner Jason Aldean. Speaking to us on his cell phone as he and his wife were heading to the airport to try and get home a day ahead of schedule, David describes those chaotic moments when the shooting began.
You heard just a spray of gunfire, and it sounded like firecrackers. I think is the easiest way to describe it. And then there was maybe a 10-second pause or a 5-second pause, and then another spray of, it seemed like 100 or so shots back to back. And at that time, you saw Jason Aldean run off the stage. And when he ran off the stage, we knew it was really serious.
David tells how he and his wife started running and taking cover.
Every time there was another spray of gunshots, I just put my wife on the ground and jumped on top of her to make sure that she would be safe. And then the gunshots would stop for a few seconds, and we would take off running, and we would make it a few hundred yards, and then the gunshots would start again, and I'd, get her down and jump back on top of her.
Through it all, David and his wife were thinking about their 17-month-old daughter, who was back home with relatives.
My wife was screaming, we need to see our baby. We need to make sure that Ellie is okay. And so that's all that I was thinking about, was keeping my wife safe. And that is the first and really only thing I was thinking, besides get the heck out of there.
The Shooks made it to nearby McCarran Airport, where they sheltered. David has strong praise for first responders.
They were phenomenal. I mean, the police officers here and the first responders were incredible. I just think they did an awesome job and kept us very safe.
David and Sydney Shook did manage to get an early flight home. In Tupelo, I'm Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Widespread 70s and 80s here in the Deep South for now. Rain showers in the region, but 30s and 40s in the high plains and Rockies. Snow breaking out. It's a long ways off. That's not coming our way. We start to warm up tomorrow. Full forecast is next.
Your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Lots of cloud cover in our region today. You can see in Tupelo, overcast conditions. Same story in Columbus. We have a little bit of a sunset trying to unfold here in Columbus with some sunshine trying to appear from those clouds. But suffice to say, we don't have a lot of moisture actually falling from those clouds. Yes, we do have a few blips showing up on our live Doppler radar. That's ground clutter right here. But there are a few light returns. Can't rule out a stray sprinkle this evening. The heavier showers have been off to our west and definitely down here to our south. Near New Orleans, look at all that heavy rain, showers and storms in southeastern Louisiana. And up here across the high plains right now in Kansas, a tornado watch and even some severe thunderstorm warnings now lining up along this boundary here from Minneapolis to southwestern Kansas. And then on the colder side of this system, we have some snow breaking out from Colorado through Wyoming into Montana, and it is piling up in the higher terrain and even across parts of the high plains. The jet stream, that storm track, it is going to be concentrated across the northern tier of the country for the rest of the week. So for us down here, we will be protected with rather benign conditions, a lot of sunshine and warm temperatures. So that's the trend for us for the rest of the work week, more or less the same. Today, the outside exception to the rule with the cloud cover and the light sprinkles, but as we get into the rest of the work week, the sun returns and our temperatures go up as well. Right now, we are in the mid to upper 70s, and with the cloud cover, we will have a slow descent down into the mid to upper 60s tonight. You can see easterly to southeasterly breezes about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Those winds relax a little bit tonight, 5 to 10, mostly cloudy, not as cool, 67 degrees. But the winds will return tomorrow from the east and southeast at about 10 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour. Around 70 at 8 o'clock, a mix of sun and clouds, 80 by noon, 85 the forecast high. So let's just say mid-80s again tomorrow afternoon across our region. A little bit more sunshine to the east, more clouds, and a better rain chance back to the west into Oklahoma and Texas tomorrow. We have dry weather that we have in the forecast because of this area of high pressure way up here in New York. It's a long ways away, but it will continue directing dry air our way with these easterly breezes. So the moisture really gets stopped in the Gulf of Mexico, and the moisture out there across the high plains is not going to get here either because of that high pressure, and that will be the trend for the rest of this work week. Here's our 7-day forecast. A lot of sunshine, friendly clouds Tuesday through Friday, mid-80s during the day, around 60 at night. More or less the same for the weekend, too, with a slight chance for a few showers.
Another case of West Nile has been reported, this time in Monroe County. This is the second case in the county and the 55th in the state this year. The Mississippi State Department of Health reminds you to use insect repellent when you're outside and to remove standing water. You can get more information on MSDH's website at healthyms.com/West Nile. Coming up, the Rebels look to get back to work after a tough loss in Tuscaloosa. More from Ole Miss and Alabama next in sports.
WCDI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
The Ole Miss Rebels look to move past this weekend's drubbing in Tuscaloosa, only to prepare for another tough road test in the Yellowhammer State. The Rebels will face number 12 Auburn, who's fresh off a convincing win over Mississippi State. Sophomore quarterback Shea Patterson said after the loss Saturday that after all the offseason controversy and noise, that nothing can break this team. Matt Luke says his team can learn a lot from losing to a top team like the Alabama Crimson Tide.
The biggest thing that getting across to the team is what we are right now is we're 2-2. You know, we're no better, we're no worse. We're 2-2. And, you know, I think when you play Alabama, it shows them, hey, this is how far we have to go. And I think it's we got to make sure that, you know, they got to keep their confidence. I think that was the biggest thing. Hey, we got to go back, simplify. We got to go back to work. And that's the only way to get the bad taste out of your mouth is get back on the practice field and go to work.
Another week at the top of the college football world for the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Tide have began its SEC season outscoring opponents 125-3. They'll travel to Kyle Field to take on the Texas A&M Aggies that are a quiet 2-0 in the SEC to start the conference season. Nick Saban believes the Aggies are the strongest team the Tide have faced to this point in the season. Saban also says his team is trying to stay focused on one game at a time and not looking back at recent success.
Everybody understanding the challenges that we have and how we want to move forward, and you can't look back. And we had 24 hours on the last game, and won't have any impact or effect on the next game. And we need to move on, and everybody's got to get psychologically and physically ready to execute and play good football, winning football in the next game.
Nick Saban continues to be a machine, and that's why Alabama is a machine. So here's the schedule for this upcoming weekend of college football. Ole Miss at Auburn. That should be a barn burner as well. 11 a.m. kickoff on the SEC Network on Saturday. Alabama travels to Texas A&M. That's the late kickoff, 6:15 p.m. That game will be broadcast on ESPN. Mississippi State on bye this week, but this is what we have to look forward to for October 14th. This is the schedule that was set today. BYU heading to Starkville to take on the Bulldogs. 11 a.m. kickoff on the SEC Network. Ole Miss and Vanderbilt will be facing off for Ole Miss's homecoming. That's at 2:30 p.m. on the SEC Network as well. Of course, this is next Saturday, not this upcoming Saturday as well. And then to high school football, our game of the week, we're leaving it up to the people. It's your choice. Shannon at Itawamba AHS, Amory at Pontotoc, Louisville at Noxubee County. Go to our Instagram account at WCBI Endzone for your vote. Voting ends tomorrow at 4 p.m. Again, that's Tuesday at 4 p.m. The list you see here, that's the current standing as of last check about 5 minutes ago. So Shannon and Itawamba AHS is the front runner, but still plenty of time for the other
The
teams.
Louisville-Noxubee matchup, is that the Toothpick Bowl?
It is.
That
is
has
indeed
my
the
vote.
Toothpick.
The Toothpick Bowl.
Well, you heard
Has
it
a
here
great
first.
name.
Andrea has Noxubee and Louisville. Joey, you got a name in the hat?
Well, you know, I saw Amory on Twitter trying to drum up some votes this afternoon. So maybe Amory,
Everyone's
just
out
for the
as well.
effort.
If
huh?
it wins, I'll have a toothpick and do the newscast.
You heard it.
All right.
Entire thing.
I mean, my
We'll
vote
all
may
have
have just
toothpicks.
changed. We'll be right back.
A little bit of a sunset trying to unfold in Columbus, but a lot of cloud cover out there. Will stay mostly cloudy this evening and during the overnight hours. As we get into the next few days, more sunshine, more mid-80s.
It was easy to type all those numbers in.
Hey, come on now.